It'll be Steve from the old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to my Wednesday midweek live news stream. I've just found a few news articles that I thought were interesting, so let's have a look. Oh, Windgrace is here. I've just noticed. I don't think I'm ready for this jelly. Okay. A very cryptic comment there from Windgrace, as is to be expected, I suppose. Right, let's just get on with it. I won't bother with the like and subscribe and all that crap because it doesn't make any difference. Maybe it does, I don't know. But let's just get on with the news. Right, I'll make myself teachy tiny. There we go. First off, Ahsoka's Dave Filoni promoted at Lucasfilm, sort of. Here's what that means for Star Wars. There he is in his cowboy hat. I should have worn mine, shouldn't I? Never mind. He's been promoted before, and is it a lyric from a song? All right, okay. Okie dokie. I forgot what I was saying now. He'd been promoted before, hadn't he? Quite a few years ago, he was promoted like head of creative of animation, wasn't he? But apparently now he's the chief creative officer of Lucasfilm in its entirety. So does that mean they're just doing Star Wars now at Lucasfilm? They're not bothering with any more Willow or any more Indiana Joneses? It's just going to be Star Wars from now on, is it? Anyway, as of November 2023, Dave Filoni will now serve as Lucasfilm's chief creative officer. This is from Looper, by the way. The author is Rick Stevenson. A veteran in building worlds within a galaxy far, far away, drinking game. Just water. Filoni's career began in animation, contributing to acclaimed series like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and King of the Hill, which I've seen the occasional episode of. Does Lucasfilm have Monkey Island? Don't know how the Lucas games fit into this. I don't know. Like I say, well, LucasArts, wasn't it? But Disney shut that down, didn't they? When they acquired Lucasfilm. So I don't know how the games, old properties. I don't know how they still have the rights to stuff like Monkey Island. I don't know. I presume they do. Right, they do a Monkey Island film. It'll be just like what's his face though, wouldn't it? Pirates of the Caribbean, I suppose. But different. Just thinking that could be a good Disney Plus show. Yes, it could. It could if they did it right. But do they ever do anything right these days? Don't know. Anyway. But as a die-hard Star Wars fan, Filoni began working for Lucasfilm in 2006. Working closely with George Lucas, he directed 2008 Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the theatrical introduction to the Clone Wars animated series, which I thought was okay. It was fine. But apparently it's the lowest Stern in Star Wars theatrical movie. Anyway. And served as showrunner for the animated TV series of the same name. When Disney purchased Star Wars and Lucasfilm from Lucas, Filoni stayed on to craft Star Wars Rebels and has since helped helm live-action properties within Star Wars 2. His latest venture, the 2023 Disney Plus series Ahsoka, brought several of his animated Star Wars characters into live action and much like Mandalorian, and expanded the New Republic's lore in meaningful ways. In meaningful ways, okay. If that's what you're saying. Now I'm what's called, this quote, now I'm what's called Chief Creative Officer of Lucasfilm, Filoni told Vanity Fair. In the past, in a lot of projects, I would be brought into it. I would see it after it had already developed in good ways. Going forward, Filoni will oversee every Star Wars project earlier in development. So again, does this suggest that they're not going to be doing anything but Star Wars now at Lucasfilm? Giving the franchise the guiding authorial hand that many fans believe it's been missing. Kathleen Kennedy remains president of the studio, and longtime producer Carrie Beck has been promoted to head of development. Since Disney took over Star Wars, the process of developing new stories has been somewhat muddled. Oh, excuse me. Oh, very professional. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. I didn't sleep well last night, so I wasn't feeling too well. But I'll muddle through. Since Disney took over Star Wars, the process of developing new stories has been somewhat muddled. The mixed response to the sequel trilogy can be traced back to one core problem. Lucasfilm didn't have a unifying 3-film plan from the outset. But they kind of did, though. I'm sure when Force Awakens came out, I'm sure I forgot the name now. J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan had like jotted down notes, or they gave notes or whatever to Ryan Johnson. This is the story anyway that went round. Gave notes to him for how they would, like the story to continue, and he threw that all away. Just did what he wanted to do. Handed in his first draft script to Kathleen Kennedy, and she just gave it the green light. Anyway. Does JJ ever have a plan? Well, that's it. I don't know. I won't call it a plan, but I heard that there were notes. There were notes given to Ryan Johnson that he just ignored. Does JJ ever have a plan, or just a start? Then he leaves an empty box when he pieces out. Essentially, yeah. For most things, yeah. Yep, he can't finish. He's the mystery box man, isn't he? He even did a TED talk, didn't he, about the mystery box? Let's say he's the cinematic antichrist. Anyway, where were we? This led to heavily mocked developments like the sudden return of Emperor Palpatine in the opening title crawl of The Rise of Skywalker. But if you played Fortnite, you knew all. Well, not we, 'cause I didn't play it. You knew all about Emperor Palpatine returning before the film because it were in Fortnite, wasn't it? Which is a weird way to introduce something into Star Wars canon. Anyway. Though Kathleen Kennedy has been the president of Lucasfilm since the Disney acquisition, her role has been less creative and more business focused. Thank God. Well, in the creative aspect, because she's crap, isn't she? Even Steven Spielberg said she was crap. But she married Frank Marshall. There you go. Filoni's new position as CCO will give the company a unifying narrative voice, working to ensure that all future projects align with Star Wars' overall creative goals. Again, is that all they're doing now? In this new role, it's opened up, but there was talk. I'm sure I remember last year or the year before, whenever, Bob Iger said something along the lines of, he said to Kathleen Kennedy, he just wants Lucasfilm to just do Star Wars from now on. And there were a big argument in his office or something like that about it. Which is also one of the times when they were saying, Kathleen Kennedy was going to get fired, but she didn't. She didn't, and she won't. Right, where were we? In this new role, it's opened up to basically everything that's going on. Filoni told Vanity Fair, when we're planning the future of what we're doing now, I'm involved at the inception phase. Was Christopher Nolan going to be there as well? Dreams within dreams. Going off that description, it sounds like Filoni will be a kind of Kevin Feige figure. Say that 3 times fast. Kevin Feige figure. Beige. Likely, Filoni will continue to write and direct major projects too. His role is the kind of job that George Lucas once held, and since Filoni is widely viewed as Lucas's last proper apprentice, good, my apprentice. He's an easy choice. Oh dear. But I'm sure he won't be, Lucas won't be saying it like that. It'd be more Obi-Wan, wouldn't he, saying, "Great job, my young apprentice." He'd be saying it like that, wouldn't he? Filoni certainly has detractors in the Star Wars fandom, those who disagree with his reliance on the old expanded universe or his approach to Force mysticism. He likes his wolves and owls and stuff, doesn't he? The world between worlds and all that weird stuff. But he is about as universally loved as anyone involved with the franchise can be at this point. He is popular, I must admit. Now that he is Lucasfilm's CCO, we can expect to see continued expansions on his favourite corners of the Star Wars universe. Yeah. Well, as it says, characters like Ahsoka Tano. It's just going to be all Ahsoka Tano from now on. He'll be saying, "You're in charge from a certain point of view." A certain point of view? Oh, dear. Characters like Ahsoka Tano, Ezra Bridger, I still always think of Sequest DSV when I see that name, and Sabine Wren likely aren't going anywhere soon. Filoni also loves exploring the mythic sides of the franchise, so he'll probably be going back to Mortis sooner rather than later, which would be interesting, I suppose. And of course, I mean, it were kind of hinted at, wasn't it? Well, it was more than hinted at in Ahsoka, wasn't it? Because we saw them big statues, which were apparently of the Mortis people, whose names I've forgotten. There were the son and the daughter and the father, or whatever the hell they're called. Who were like aspects of the Force, weren't they? The balance, the good side, and the dark side, whatever. And of course, he's known for adapting storylines from the Star Wars Legends continuity, particularly championing Grand Admiral Thrawn. Could his promotion to CCO, who's like rubbish, he just loses constantly, but always tries to make out he's good at flanneling, isn't it? Just makes out it's all part of his plan. You know, the good guys got away. It's all part of the plan. That's what he says. Could his promotion to CCO herald the return of the Yu Zhang Vong or Darth Krayt? Or fingers crossed, new stories in the Old Republic era. Only time will tell. What's easier to bank on, or at least hope for, is more cohesion between the disparate Star Wars movies, shows, comics, books, and video games. If he does his job, we won't have to complain anymore about Satine Kryze going unmentioned in Obi-Wan Kenobi, or all those embarrassing Rise of Palpatine retcons. With Filoni at the helm, the future of Star Wars could be quite bright if the Force wills it. It'll just be the same as it always has been. That's what it'll be. It'll be just more of the same. That's all it'll be, in my opinion. You know, he's not the savior. He's not the well, I can't call him the prodigal son, but you know, the prodigy. That's what I'm trying to think. That's the word I'm trying to think. The prodigy of Lucas. He wasn't. You know, he's not that. He's just gonna do what he wants to do. We get more Ahsoka and the characters from the Clone Wars and Rebels. That's what we'll get in live action. So there. So this could mean that the Mandalorian film is more likely to happen than the other films. You know, the James Mangold one and the Taika Waititi one and the Rey one. But we've got a story about the Rey one coming up. I still doubt that's going to happen, but we will see. So we'll move on. Remove that. F11. Where are we? Here we go. Daisy Ridley. Oh, I like Daisy Ridley. I think most people actually like Daisy Ridley as a person. Ray wouldn't. I prefer Ray Gunn. Haha, jokes. He's such a wag. It's Wing Grace. Right, Daisy Ridley. I was shitting herself. See, I'm going to swear. I don't care. I'm in that sort of a mood today. Herself about Star Wars Return. Even powerful Jedi get nervous at times. This is from the Digital Fix, by the way. Jacob Barnes is the author. Even powerful Jedi get nervous at times, and Daisy Ridley has been very clear about how scared she was when revealing her Star Wars Return. Right. I wonder what's more scary, facing off against the most powerful Sith in the galaxy. Oh, yes, she did, didn't she? In Rise of Palpatine. Or walking into a room full of Star Wars fans. According to Daisy Ridley, the latter might actually be more intimidating than Palpatine himself. I am all the Sith. Gosh, stupid film. I am sure most Star Wars actors have a lot of fun being involved in the franchise, but the Star Wars cast also gets a lot of negative attention from the fan base too. Daisy Ridley got a fair bit of stick for her Star Wars character because she were a Mary Sue, wasn't she? She were OP, as the kids say. But I quite liked Rey at the beginning, The Force Awakens. You know, I quite liked Rey, and I like Daisy Ridley. She's very personable. Anyway, where were we? Star Wars character with fans criticizing Rey's rise as a Jedi. I sound drunk. Rise as a Jedi for being too unrealistic because space wizards and laser swords are absolutely grounded in reality, of course. Jacob Barnes, you're a knobhead. You don't know what you're talking about. You can have fantasy elements, but you've got to have a certain amount of verisimilitude. And I'm sure he doesn't know what that means. She's coming back for a new Star Wars movie, though, which is great news. However, Ridley has admitted that revealing that big surprise at Star Wars Celebration was a daunting experience. I was shitting myself before I went on stage because no one knew I was going to that, Ridley told Collider. No one knew I was going to Celebration, bar like Kathy Kennedy, and there were a couple of people. I was so nervous. She actually did look nervous when she came out. Luckily, the crowd were nice to Ridley, and it sounds like they'll be rewarded with a very intriguing movie too. This is a proper shill author, this, isn't it? This Jacob, what's his face? It was such a wonderful reception, and I'm very excited. The story's really cool. I'm waiting to read the script because obviously I don't have any other updates. Oh, there's been a story today, hasn't there, about her saying she's seen the script, which I haven't got here for some weird reason. It's not what I expected, but I'm very excited. She must know the basic story then, but there's not a script. That must be what she means. Because the stories I've been saying, it's unexpected or whatever. Or it's not what the fans expect. Something like that, she said, didn't she? So people have been saying, well, that's what they said about The Last Jedi, etc. Going to be subverting our expectations again. Anyway, honestly, Daisy Ridley deserves nothing but the best. She seems like an absolutely lovely person, and she gave her all to the sequel trilogy to deliver one of the coolest Jedi around. The idea that Rey's journey from scavenger to Force user was too quick is simply ridiculous. She has almost the exact same arc as Luke Skywalker. No, she doesn't. But you don't hear people complaining about his abilities, do you? She didn't have the same arc as Luke Skywalker, because Luke Skywalker kept failing, didn't he? He got his ass kicked by his dad. Did Rey get her ass kicked? No, she didn't. Just won every single time, didn't she? She kicked Luke Skywalker's ass. I forgot his name. Jacob Barnes. You're a dickhead. You don't know what you're talking about. How much did they pay you? We may be reading too much into this, but there's a chance we may get more than one new movie from Rey too. I know the storyline for one film. That's not to say that's all it is, but that's what I was told about, Ridley added. Yes, she said something about films, didn't she? We'd assume that if this first installment performs well at the box office and gets positive buzz, there will be a desire to keep exploring Rey's journey further. If Charmin, it's not going to happen, I don't think. If Charmin obeyed Chinoy's effort is as fun as The Force Awakens and or as thought-provoking as The Last Jedi, I'm all in. Being paid. Chill. If it's anything like The Rise of Palpatine, throw it in the Sarlacc pit. This Rise of Palpatine were more entertaining than The Last Bloody Jedi. It's like Star Crash. That's how I view The Rise of Palpatine. It's like watching Star Crash. Like a disaster of a film. Doing its best. Anyway, we don't need to spend any time looking at how Rey deals with the Palpatine bloodline, and we don't even need to address her adoptive status in the Skywalker family tree either. Hopefully, this can just be a fresh start for Rey and the Jedi Order, free from the shackles of the past. Blah, blah, blah. Is that all he's saying? Hang on. If you do want to live in the past, you can always go and watch the Star Wars movies in order again, but we prefer looking to the future. Yeah, whatever. Right. Jacob, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Saying that Rey has exactly the same story arc as Luke Skywalker is something only an idiot would say because she didn't. Luke failed along his path, along his hero's journey several times before he ended up being successful. And then Rey came along and kicked his ass and ruined it all for him and caused him to die, essentially. Forced his hand, but I don't know why didn't he just go to Crate and fight? I forgot to put his name now. Kylo Ren. Because it takes no time to get anywhere in the Star Wars universe now, doesn't it? In the Disney Star Wars universe, people they just get in the ship, go, and they arrive. So anyway, don't get me going. So But a film's not happening anyway. And she was really nervous at Star Wars Celebration, blah, blah, blah. I like Daisy Ridley, though. And I like The Force Awakens. But I didn't like the others. We're sticking with Star. Oh, no, we're on about Marvel now. Moving on to Marvel. But it's Pedro Pascal, because that's the big news, isn't it? So I thought I'd better cover it. Here we go. This is from IGN. Michael Calabro. Pedro Pascal proves money has become Marvel's greatest villain. Does the Fantastic Four really need another big name when it already has 4 of them? It looks like the MCU may have finally found its Mr. Fantastic. So get out of the way, John Krasinski. Well, they spaghettified him and blew his brain up or whatever happened at the end there. In Doctor Strange Mom. Because Pedro Pascal is in talks to bring his every dad powers to Marvel's smartest, most malleable super family. The news couldn't come any sooner after the recent Variety article showing just how bright the Marvel dumpster is currently burning at Disney. Have they been sarcastic there? And with the Marvels absolutely tanking at the box office, the House of Mouse needs to draw some attention away from its $274 million dud and the rest. It's over 300, isn't it? The saying. What better way to do that than to leak one of the stars of its most anticipated projects? Pedro Pascal is without a doubt an awesome actor. But I must admit, I'm a bit disappointed by his casting. Not me, Michael Calabro. I couldn't give him monkeys. For a while, he has been kicking around the idea that Marvel's biggest problem is money. And at least in my mind, Pedro seems like the perfect manifestation of this problem. He's probably got a lot of time in his hands, though, because he might not be in The Last of Us Season 2 very long. And The Mandalorian, he just goes into a booth, doesn't he, and records his voice. So he's probably got time on his hands, so that's why he's in talks to be in a Marvel film. Anyway, so let's get into how Pedro Pascal proves money has become Marvel's greatest villain. Right. Ever hear the old saying, if your only tool is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail? Well, it's becoming increasingly clear that Disney's only real tool is money, which they've been throwing around with abandon to mixed results, especially recently. The main problem with Marvel tossing gobs of money at these movies is that at a certain point, spending more cash on a movie ultimately makes it worse. Once these blockbusters start to approach $200 million budgets, pardon me, which they have been for about the last 6 or 7 years, haven't they? They become an investment the studio absolutely can't afford to lose. These bloated budgets create an Ouroboros effect where the more money they spend on a project, the more risk-averse the studio becomes, which manifests itself by second-guessing their filmmakers' creative decisions in post and splurging on expensive reshoots to take safe routes in order to ensure a mediocre B cinema score rating in early screenings. I've no idea what this cinema score thing is all about. No idea. They say B is rubbish, don't they? And you've got to get an A, but I don't understand it. Marvel's need to significantly tinker in post-production is just a subtle reminder that these suits are more interested in making a product to be pleasurably consumed than a piece of artistic expression. It's Disney, innit? This all leads to my first point about Marvel's money problems, which isn't a lack of resources, but a surplus. Marvel doesn't make stars like they used to. In 2009, after Marvel bet it all on Iron Man and won, Vulture published a story with a now infamous headline, Marvel rolls dice, casts no names for Thor. Apart from Kenneth Branagh, who, the director. Anyway, and Natalie Portman, who, she's not a no name, is she? Anyway, Vulture was absolutely right. What makes this headline, Anthony Hopkins, and who else were there? Rennie Thingamabob. I forgot about the name now. The actress. What's her name now? Green Lethal Weapon 3 and loads of other stuff. Anyway, Vulture was absolutely right, said the want. What makes this headline so funny in hindsight is that it's a testament to how creatively brilliant the MCU's output was in the run-up to Avengers Endgame. Chris Hemsworth was George Kirk for a heroic 10 minutes, and Tom Hiddleston didn't even have that much to brag about at that point in their careers. Was Idris unknown then? I don't know, to be honest. He was probably more famous in the UK for his Luther series and all that, but I don't know in America. I don't know. Hell, Chris Pratt was also practically a no-namer when he was anointed as Star-Lord, best known at that point as Andy Dwyer, the lovable broom on Parks and Rec. In the early days of the MCU, Marvel knew that it needed to keep its budgets manageable. One of the best ways to accomplish that was to keep above-the-line costs down, i.e. talent salaries. So they gambled on up-and-coming actors, hiring essentially talented C plus B minus actors for long-term multi-picture contracts. Instead of paying for names on the poster, Marvel bet big on the quality of their scripts, and the gamble paid off. Those no-names are now huge stars. Say, Robert Downey Jr. is not exactly a no-name, was it? Even then. But it was kind of his comeback, wasn't it? It'd been in the Hollywood wilderness for quite a while. Anyway, remember last year when Quentin Tarantino caught heat for saying that the Marvel actors aren't the stars, the characters are? He was right. In the early 2010s, it looked like Marvel already understood that insight, and one could argue that it was a key part in those films' extreme profitability. Pedro Pascal is going to bring a lot to the role for sure, but gambling on a no-name Reed Richards would have been helpful to Marvel in the long run. I'm not saying it doesn't matter who plays Reed Richards. We've already had Ian Griffin, haven't we? It does. Of course, we want a great actor to play him, but he doesn't need to be a household name like Ian Griffin. Great name. There are plenty of talented unknown actors just waiting for an opportunity like this. Which Fantastic Four character are you most looking forward to seeing in the MCU? I don't know. Not bothered. How long's this going for? Is this a super long article? Oh, bloody hell it is, isn't it? Oh, I always pick bloody long articles, though. I'm not reading all that. Jesus Christ. What does it say at the end? We'll cut to the end. As Shaun of the Dead says, skip to the end. Right. With the X-Men and Fantastic Four, Marvel has some actual A-list properties in their back pocket that they can use to try to reverse the audience apathy that's plaguing the studio. Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards is a safe bet, is it? But the Fantastic Four doesn't need Pedro Pascal. There's a reason why Reed Richards and company have been some of the most popular Marvel heroes for decades. They're Marvel's first family. Yes, there's years and years of stories to adapt. Let's hope Marvel takes the right risks and delivers an amazing story. A ton of people will show up. Opening weekend will be doing so. A ton of people who will show up opening weekend will be doing so, as Fantastic Four fans first and Pedro Pascal fans second. Like Tarantino so eloquently said, the actors aren't movie stars. Or in this case, Mr. Fantastic and the Fantastic Four are the stars. Let's hope Marvel remembers this lesson and places more confidence in their stories rather than just relying on their ability to cut checks to get bigger but less profitable names on the poster. Right, that's it. So I'm not reading all that. I want Bill Hader to voice Herbie. What, the car? the what is it, number 53 Volkswagen Bug, that Herbie. Herbie doesn't have a voice, or is there a different Herbie? But I'm a majority of one. Anyway, yeah, I'm not reading all that. If you want to read that, the link's in the description. That's what I forgot to mention. Links for all these stories in the description down below. Later on, I'll put timestamps in. And all that jazz. Right. So, it's not a done deal. A lot of people are saying it is, but it's still in talks, and it might not end up being Reed Richards. I'm sure he'd be fine if he does get the part. Oh, the Fantastic Four robot. Oh, right, see, that shows what I know, doesn't it? Does it go bananas? But I forgot what I was saying now. I'm sure it'll be fine, but we will just have to wait and see. As I said, he's got a lot of time on his hands, hasn't he, at the moment? He may not be in The Last of Us very long. if they keep the season 2, along the same lines as the game, The Last of Us 2, which I've not played. But I understand, I forgot his name now. What's the name of his character in Last of Us? Doesn't last very long in the game. Spoilers. Anyway, let's move on. If you want to read the rest of that article, follow the link in the description, because I'm not reading all that. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes next. Which looked good from the trailer. There we go. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes director wanted to make sure the film had a little bit of Star Wars. And there's a chimpanzee doing a little bit of falconry with an eagle. Joel, yes, that was his name, yes. Why skip to the second game? Could do 5 seasons at least, aging into it. They should just... I suspect that what happens in the second game is not going to happen to Joel in The Last of Us Season 2. I think they're going to go off on different paths. There'll be similarities, I should imagine. Same characters, but I think they're going to do different things to the game. It makes sense, in my opinion. But we will see. You never know these days, do you? You never know. Where were we? Right, not Last of Us. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Contemptuous. Nobody needs a refresh. This is from /film. Jeremy Mattei is the author. Nobody needs a refresher course on just how influential the original Planet of the Apes movies were. The most recent trilogy of movies has become a popular pick amongst cinephiles as one of the most underappreciated blockbuster franchises in recent years. I thought they were amazing. The incredible VFX work feels seamless. Yep, Andy Serkis's performance as the ape leader Caesar is nothing short of Oscar-worthy. And the dystopian story threaded throughout the trilogy stands tall as a fantastic addition to the lore of the sci-fi series. So when word first came down that Maze Runner director Wes Ball would attempt to pick up where they left off with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Pofter. Fans seemed torn between excitement and healthy skepticism. Consider any fears long gone in the wake of the film's first teaser trailer, which hinted at another epic adventure taking place generations after the events of War for the Planet of the Apes. You can't say a word out of that, can you? Whatever. Since tone is always difficult to pin down from marketing alone, where any amount of footage can be edited in a way to suggest one genre or another, Ball has now attempted to give audiences a better idea of what to expect from this latest sequel. In an interview with Empire, the filmmaker opened up about what he felt the Apes movies needed in order to switch things up a bit and keep it fresh. Quote, when I first started on it, I said, I feel like Apes needs a little bit of Star Wars. It's all still very grounded in reality, but it is essentially a quest narrative. I think he's on about basically the hero's journey, I suppose, isn't it? Which we mentioned earlier. Our main character, the young, impressionable Noah, Owen Teague, meets characters along the way and becomes awakened as he winds up in a place that will test him, and he ultimately becomes his true self. Yes, the hero's journey. Which Ray never went on. Right. So, how much do you want to bet that director Wes Ball knows just how passionate fans can be on social media these days? Almost immediately after invoking Star Wars to describe his latest movie, the filmmaker goes out of his way to reassure potential viewers we haven't kiddified it or Disneyfied it, if I'm allowed to say that. But remember, it's a 20th Century Studios production in it, owned by Disney. But we have brought a younger spirit to it. Oh dear. That spirit might very well come through main characters like the ape Noah, who, as many are speculating, may or may not be a direct descendant of Caesar. It probably is. And the young human character portrayed by Freya Allen, who, based on the trailer, seemed destined to cross paths. Still, Ball goes on to hold up the 2006 Mel Gibson film Apocalypto, which is an amazing film, as a source of inspiration as well. So we're safely expecting a film that will feel right at home with existential musings of the rest of the series. Another big question mark hanging over Kingdom is when exactly this story takes place. The official synopsis details that this is set several generations in the future following Caesar's reign, which Ball echoes here. Noah, so there will be a flood. You never know, there might be. We'll have to see. It might not be an accident why they call him Noah, spelled it differently, but it might not be accidental. Right. Quote, I wanted to do a big leap forward in time. It's significant enough that Caesar is still a spirit in the movie. But most of his living relatives are not in this picture. Hope he's not going to appear like Mufasa does to Simba in the sky. Noah, you should go on this quest and take that young bit of human stuff with you. And watch out for the flood later. Build me an ark. Right, anyway, whatever. I forgot what I was saying. Quote, I wanted to do a big leap forward in time. It's significant enough that Caesar is still a spirit in the movie, but most of his living relatives are not in this picture. Most? I thought it was several generations. Any of them. How long do apes live for? If the last three movies were the Stone Age, here we get to see what happens when they enter the Bronze Age. That seems to jibe with the more talkative clothes-wearing and slightly more advanced apes on display in the trailer. Either way, consider us intrigued by whatever Ball has up his sleeves here. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes comes to theatres on May 24th, 2024. Pardon me. So I'm looking forward to it. They still have rifles, though. They've got rifles. Have they been passed down? Can they make rifles? I don't know. But I'm looking forward to it, and it looks good. We will see. But I did like the previous ones, and I'm a big fan of the original Planet of the Apes films. Not a big fan of the Tim Burton one, although the makeup effects were astounding. Tim Roth looked, amazing as General. I forgot his name now. Thaddeus or something like that, wasn't it? I can't remember his name now. Yeah, that. But the story in Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes films were poo, but the original films were amazing. Right, let's move on. What's next? A bit of gaming, because I'm something of a gamer myself. A game I know nothing about, but I thought, what the hell? Headline. Take this from GG Recon, written by Joseph Kime or Kimmy, I don't know. $10 sci-fi horror is outselling Call of Duty on Steam. New Call of Duty game out, innit? You've still seen the adverts on YouTube and on the telly. Apparently it's not very good, but I don't know. I'm not really into Call of Duty because I'm rubbish at them sort of games. It's always a treat to see an indie title beat out the giants. Of course, everyone is currently playing Call of Duty's return to the world stage in Modern Warfare 3. Not me. Why have they called it Modern Warfare 3? I thought they were already... Oh, I don't know. And nobody's about to stand in the shooter's way. Every once in a while, the launch of a new AAA title is overshadowed by the viral popularity of a game with much less resource to work with, and it serves as a testimony to the ingenuity of game developers taking to Steam with their works. Now, a new viral hit is taking over on Steam. Is it Stargate Timekeepers? Anyway, the next inheritor to the spooky successors of Phasmophobia is Lethal Company, a game that has shot out of the blue and come for players on Steam with plenty of scares that have shaken many players. Oh, right, there's a trailer here. Somebody watch the trailer? Yes, I did.
The company is hiring. You'll have your very own ship, your very own crew. Your job? Collect worthless garbage to return to the company desk. It's easy.
They're coming.
It's like Doom 3 then. Oh, man. All right. Right. Okay, that's a trailer. It didn't look amazing, did it? But you know, it's an indie title, so I suppose they don't. It's only $10 when all said and done. The $10 horror title is set across a series of definitely not haunted moons as 4 players bound to contracts with a space scavenging company. As you can expect, grim and shrill scares ensue. Players are clearly loving it, as it already has over 20,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, which for its time on the site is incredibly impressive. It's taking over the internet right now for good reason, and it's even taking on the video game giants. Let's see. There we go. Click to enlarge. There we go. Are these the top things? Steam Deck is top things, and I have no idea. Steam Deck's it's this console, isn't it? So Lethal Company, is that a number 1 then? Counter Strikes, there, that's free. Call of Duty 3 is below them. So I'm presuming this is the chart. Oh, my global top sellers. So yes, so it's outselling Call of Duty and Baldur's Gate 3. Cool. Not showing a price, is it, for Call of Duty? I don't know. Maybe there's a reason for that. Anywho, Lethal Company is enjoying some serious success right now, appearing at the very top of Steam's global sellers list, beating Modern Warfare 3, Baldur's Gate 3, which I've heard is really good, but I've not played it. And the ever popular PUBG, PUB, what the hell is it? I don't know. PUBG, I don't know what the hell it is. We're reminded of when BattleBit Remastered made a surprise arrival and soared to the top of Steam. Though it's unlikely the developer ever expected such a far-reaching success for Lethal Company, it's an incredible accomplishment, and it's telling of how players are still willing to favour smart design and interesting new ideas over the AAA belters that seem to sell exponentially. Part of us feels like this is justice. And that's it, Intix. That's another story. So there we go. So good for Lethal. I forgot already what it's called. Good for Lethal Company. You go and outsell the AAA guys because they probably, let's say, Modern Warfare 3 probably had a budget of like $300 million or something ridiculous. Shall we look it up? See if it says us. Modern Warfare 3 budget. Crikey. Let's have a read of this. It says here $1 billion budget. Crikey, let's have a read of this. When's this from? September. I'm just scanning an article down here, just looking through it. Come on, get to some numbers. The Competition and Market Authority has predicted that Call of Duty has $1 billion for Modern Warfare 3. Developers have already spent almost $300 million to develop the video game. However, due to the contents of the video games, they believe that one studio will not be enough. Blah, 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 blah. The developers think they need 1.5 lead studios. This could increase their budget to $450 million. Other than that, a few AAA publishers reportedly could spend $500 million more on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3's marketing. Oh, that's what they're saying, yeah. All right. Wow. So, $1 billion budget on a game. That's a $500 million marketing, almost $500 million development. Wow. Player Unknown Battlegrounds. It's the game that Fortnite stole. Is it? All right. Okay then. Never even got into Fortnite. I couldn't work out how to get through past the menu. I didn't know what to press or select. I uninstalled it off my PlayStation. Anyway, so that's I forgot again. Lethal Company outselling an indie game that admittedly doesn't look AAA. You know, it looks like got graphics from like 20 years ago, or whatever, doesn't it? But it's outset, so it must have good gameplay. That's all I'm saying. It must be fun to play. And sometimes that's more important, isn't it? I mean, I love to play the original Tomb Raider. That looks rubbish now. But the gameplay is cool. So anyway, right. So let's move on. I think we've another game in story next. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. A game I've heard of but never played. Here we go. Star Wars classic game gets surprise update. Can you see that? That's a bit small. Let's make it a bit bigger. There we go. Star Wars classic game gets surprise update 17 years after release. This is from, I can't remember. Gaming Bible, I think it says. I can't scroll up to the top of the page. Never mind. From Emma Flint. Right. There are plenty of Star Wars classic games that haven't got the remaster treatment they so rightly deserve, nor are they easily playable in their current states all these years later. Jedi Knight 2, Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight. I want a good version of that. Yet hope appears around the corner in the form of a surprise update for an iconic Star Wars title that's 17 years old. The real-time strategy game has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, with players calling it still amazing despite its age. And now, thanks to the developer Petroglyph, surprising gamers with a maintenance patch, Star Wars Empire at War has undergone some bug fixes and performance optimization. They do say the Force is everywhere, and this seems to confirm it. Now that Empire at War has been converted to 64-bit, fans are curious as to whether the devs intend to reveal a remaster and/or sequel in light of its sudden interest in enhancing the game. After all, with the multiplayer originally shut down in 2014 and then re-added only 3 years later, something keeps the devs returning to this title, and it's not just the loyal fandom. Undoubtedly, a lot of Star Wars fans would give anything to see Knights of the Old Republic remastered, or at the very least, for it to undergo significant patches to make it current-gen console friendly. I think Clifton 3D is playing that live right now. So we check. I'm sure I saw him earlier on playing that. Clifton, good old Clifton 3D. Where is he? Give me subscriptions. Oh, he's disappeared from the live thing, so he may have stopped. He may have turned it off. Look at my history. See if he's still playing. Where are we? There we go. No, he's finished. He's finished now. He was playing it live earlier on. Knights of the Old Republic on his PC. He was playing it earlier. So go and subscribe to Clifton 3D. And subscribe to Windgrace while you're at it. And yes, remaster Elite Force. Damn it. Yes. I've got that on my PC and it's still an amazing game. But, you want the graphics updated because they look stupid, the characters. They look very old-fashioned, don't they? But yes, Elite Force is great. Anyway, where were we? Undoubtedly, a lot of Star Wars fans would give anything to see Knights of the Old Republic remastered, or at the very least, for it to undergo significant patches to make it current-gen console friendly. Even more so in light of the remake's cancellation being announced, which may be we dodged a bullet, maybe. Hang on. Windgrace. What's his link or spelling? Oh, hang on. I'll put the link in the chat for Clifton 3D. There we go. Anyway, heck, make a new one while all the cast are recording Prodigy. Yes, a new Elite Force, yeah. I forgot what I want now. Oh, yes, the remake of Knights of the Old Republic. We may have dodged a bullet because apparently they were going to totally redo the game, even the story and everything, weren't they? Which I'm sure the fans would be happy about. Leaving players to weep into their morning coffees, unsure of life anymore. And yes, there is still good news to be found regarding Star Wars titles, like the confirmation that a follow-up to the hugely successful Star Wars Jedi Survivor is in the works. I still haven't played that. I played the first one, which I quite enjoyed. Still, while it's good to see modern installments doing well, it's not nearly as satisfying as seeing older games revived and brought back to life. Yes, this patch is but a small footnote in the game's history, but to see fans so excited about Star Wars Empire at War again is heartwarming. If you want to join the cause, you can purchase Star Wars Empire at War for just £5.86 on Steam. I don't know what that is in American money. With that 65% off available until 28th of November. Oh, I might look into that, even though I'm rubbish at those sorts of games. But, a five. But anyway, but I've never played it. I've heard of it, but I've never played it. And I'm rubbish at real-time strategy. But, because I'm an idiot. I am, genuinely. I'm an idiot. And I can't strategize. Right. Doctor Who. I think we've 2 Doctor Who stories. A Star Trek one and the Rebel Moon one. So we're getting there. We're nearly done. Hang on. Full screen the bugger. There we go. Right. This is from Inverse by, oh my God, how do you pronounce that? Hoi Tran Bui. Edgar Wright had a good reason for not directing the most important episode of Doctor Who. It was a simple no, even though it would have been great, is the quote. And there's Rose and Christopher Eccleston's Doctor. I keep forgetting her name. Billie Piper. Next to the London Eye, which is in London. In the long history of TV industry could-have-beens, the trivia that Edgar Wright almost directed the first episode of the Doctor Who revival is high up there. A singularly stylish director who put his mark on genre filmmaking with the acclaimed Cornetto trilogy movies, Shaun of the Dead, the Police one, it was bloody name I can't remember now. What was that one called? And World's End, that one. Oh God, what the middle film now called? Dr. Whilst. Hate that word, whilst. What was the middle film in the Cornetto trilogy? Hot Fuzz, yes, Hot Fuzz, that's the one. Why couldn't I think of that? That was the Cornetto trilogy, wasn't it? And hits like Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And he also did that Baby Driver as well, didn't it? Which were quite good. Wright has risen the ranks to Hollywood royalty. And he was supposed to do Ant-Man, wasn't he? Supposed to do Ant-Man and then pulled out and they got that other fella in, Peyton Reed. But before he became a household name, Wright was the guy who directed Spaced, which is amazing. I love Spaced. I watch that quite regularly. A beloved British sitcom that made him contemporaries with the would-be maestro behind the Doctor Who revival, Russell T Davies. Russell T Davies is somebody I've known for many years now, Wright tells Inverse. He always asks me to work with him. Doctor Who lore goes that Wright was offered the gig of directing the first episode of the Doctor Who revival, Rose, but turned it down because he was busy making a little movie called Shaun of the Dead, the zombie comedy, Zomedy, that would launch Wright and his collaborators, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, to genre superstardom. But Wright clarifies that while he had a meeting with Davies, he actually said no because directing the episode would have prevented him from promoting Shaun of the Dead. I wouldn't have missed the Shaun of the Dead press tour for the world, Wright says. It was a simple no, even though it would have been great. It wasn't like I was doing it and then I bowed out. It was just the first question of, we're doing this in 2004. It's like, I don't think I can do it, you know. Rose was ultimately directed by Keith Boak, who also helmed 2 other episodes of Doctor Who in its first season. But production troubles in the first episode reportedly led star Christopher Eccleston, who played the 9th Doctor, to exit the show early. In the first episode, in the first season, right before Doctor Who became a modern phenomenon. Eccleston has alluded to issues with the director in that first season, but never confirmed who or whom, even. Would things have been different with Wright in the director's chair? Would Doctor Who's first modern episode have been slightly less embarrassing and slightly more stylish? It's fine. It's a bit goofy, but it's fine. Maybe, but Wright, who is an avowed fan of Doctor Who, tries not to think too much about that alternate timeline. Hang on. Peg and Frost both went on to be in Doctor Who. It's like poetry or something. It rhymes. Yeah. And they also went on to be in Land of the Dead, directed by George Romero, didn't they? Playing zombies. Here's the thing, he says. Sometimes if I get asked to do episodes of my favourite shows or get asked to do the installments of my favourite franchises, I usually have the same feeling as like it's existed perfectly well without me up until this point, and it'll be absolutely fine without me from this point on. Like I say, he was supposed to do Ant-Man, wasn't he? But obviously he's a director of his own style, and obviously found out that Marvel doesn't want that kind of a director. They want a director that's likes to be told what to do, and he's obviously not that sort of a director. I'm surprised Sam Raimi's worked with them, to be honest. I mean, what is he short of money or something? Anyway, so they usually, they usually cast directors, don't they, rather than hire them. They usually cast them, don't they? They want a director that can just tell the actors where to stand and say the lines and not have any artistic input, which is why they usually get up and coming directors and essentially make stars out of those, don't they? But anyway, whatever. It was really nice to be offered Wright ads. I think my mum probably couldn't believe that I was saying no to it, but at the same time, it's gone on to be a huge success. It's not like they needed me; they were absolutely fine without me. But yeah, you want like a star of a director then, were you? Back in 2005 when it started. Doctor Who returns with 360th anniversary special start with the Star Beast on November 25th. Crikey, it's this weekend, isn't it? And I was looking forward to it, but I'm not anymore. Outside the wasted Illuminati, I liked Multiverse of Madness. I didn't hate it, but I only watched it because it's got Elizabeth Olsen in it. So that kept me watching. Elizabeth Olsen, because I love her. Anyway, as Aidan keeps telling me, my son, you really fancy her, don't you, Dad? Yeah. Oh, no. He says that about Karen Gillan to me. I was like, yeah. Speaking of Doctor Who. But yeah, Multiverse of Madness, it wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't. I didn't think it was very, very good. But I watched it all the way through. I didn't turn it off, so that must mean something. I've not watched. I couldn't watch the Thor one, Love and Thunder. Couldn't watch that all the way through. Got about 10 minutes in and turned the bugger off. Ash Williams exists in the Marvel universe. I wish they'd worked out the rights to use him. Yeah. Yep. Does he? Is he in the comics? You mean? Is he in the Marvel comics? I mean, Bruce Campbell. Yes, his name in it has been in the Spider-Man films, and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. So he's in there, isn't he? Won't be too much of a stretch to say it's Ash. But anyway, and those Spider-Man films are in the MCU now, aren't they? Yes, they have a line of comics, Ash versus Marvel Zombies. All right. So you never know. You never say never, because apparently they want Sam Raimi to come and do another film, don't they? And I can't remember what it is. I saw it in the news. So you never know. You never know. Anyway, right. What's next? Oh, pardon me. Hey, Tom Baker. Tom Baker's been opening his gob, but he's old enough. He can say what he wants. This is from Huffington Post, Daniel Welsh. Right. Tom Baker has choice words for fellow Doctor Who actors as he admits contemptuous feelings. He's acing. I avoid them, not with any malice, a degree of contempt perhaps, but mildly, is the quote. And there he is in his heyday with some Daleks and his big long scarf and his floppy hat. Right, Doctor Who legend Tom Baker has made some rather surprising claims about his successors on the long-running TV show. That promo photo shoot of Baker really made me sad. I don't think I've seen that. He's not looking as well as he as he has done. Is he? He's starting to look his age now, isn't he? But I haven't seen that promo shoot of Tom. I don't think I have anyway. Right, where were we? Doctor Who legend Tom Baker has made some rather surprising claims about his successors on the long-running TV show. The veteran performer, who was the fourth actor to play the Doctor, technically with the fifth if you count Peter Cushing in the two films, helming the show for 7 years between 1974 and 1981, and is still revered as among the best to ever take up residence in the TARDIS. Yeah, he's amazing, is Tom Baker. He probably is my favourite, to be honest. It used to be Peter Davison, but I think Tom Baker really is my favourite. He has the old Fourth Doctor costume on, and he looks, oh no, I've not seen it then. Let's look it up then. See if we can find it. Tom Baker. I'll just type in photo shoot and see what it finds. I'll go to images. And then I'll go to, I don't know, past week. We'll go to past week. Oh, yes. Oh, crikey. Oh, yes. He's looking his age now, isn't he? Good heavens. I will open that. I'll show the ladies and gentlemen that. Where are we? Open image in new tab. I'll just have to... we'll do that. I'll just have to take that off. Because I'm going to have to go out to full screen. Where have I put it now? I'll put it somewhere. I don't know where it is. Oh, there it is. Right. Where are we? There you go, Tom. There you go, Tom. Now then, where's this gone? Right. Put it back on. There he is. Is that the one you mean? He's looking his age. He's still got a twinkle in his eye, I must admit. But yeah, he's looking his. How old is he now? It might tell us in this article. But anyway, so there you go. Bless him. Anyway, right. Back to the article. Full screen the baby again. I'm sure it'll tell us how old he is somewhere down here. There is another one that is worse, but yes. Well, there's another one here. He's sitting in a chair. I think that's about it. He's lost a lot of weight, hasn't he? You can see that. Even from when he appeared as the in that art gallery, that episode, even then he's lost a lot of weight even from that, hasn't he? But anyway. Right. Where were we? Where were we? As the show's 60th anniversary approaches, Tom was asked about his relationship with the other stars to play the Doctor over the years, telling the Radio Times, I avoid them, not with any malice, a degree of contempt perhaps, but mildly contemptuous. Curator, yes, that one, Curator. He played, didn't he? But that was the 50th, so 10 years ago. Yeah. Doesn't time fly? Doesn't time fly? When the outlet mentioned the fact that different actors to play Tarzan over the years would regularly meet up, Tom branded a Doctor Who gathering like that an unthinkable idea. Fancy being around the table with old Doctor Who's, he joked. Though I'd quite like to walk into a restaurant and find 12 of them around the table, I'd enjoy doing that double take as I desperately try to remember who they were. I could keep that going for hours. Oh, I can feel the malice rising, he joked. For Doctor Who's Diamond Anniversary, yes, Doctors Who. They are the Doctors Who. For Doctor Who's Diamond Anniversary, David Tennant will be returning to the franchise as the 14th Doctor, or Doctor 10A, alongside his former right-hand woman, Catherine Tate, for a series of special episodes. Is that it? Following this, blah, 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 blah. We know the rest. Read Tom Baker's full interview on the Radio Times. There's a link there. So he's old enough to say what he wants. How old is he now? Let's have a look. How old is he? Tom Baker, age. How old is he? Let's have a look. He's 89. He is. He's 89. He's Tom. Bless him. Bless him. Right. So anyway, yes. So like I say, he's at that age when he can say what he likes. I'm getting there, but not quite there just yet. But you get to a certain age, you can say what you want, and people just put it down to being old, don't they? Anyway, so there we go. Bless him. I mean, some of the other doctors, though, he said he wouldn't like to, go to a convention or whatever and meet up with all the other doctors. But some of them do, interact with each other and do conventions together, don't they? Like Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy and Paul McGann and that. They'll often, do conventions at the same time, won't they? And do photo shoots together and all that stuff. So it's just Tom. Just Tom, who's a miserable old curmudgeon at 89. Bless him. Anyway. Right, let's move on. I think we're moving on to Star Trek now. Yeah, we are. We're moving on to Star Trek. This is from Total Film. Faye Watson is the author. Chris Pine shoots down Star Trek 4 rumours and says, of course, he's not seen any scripts. And there he is from Star Trek Beyond, I think. Chris Pine has given an update on the long-in-development Star Trek 4, and it's predictably not very promising, despite rumours that production is ramping up on that one at Paramount. The Captain Kirk actor was less positive. Not that I know of, Pine told comicbook.com when he was asked about if the fourth instalment of the franchise was happening. The publication then quizzed him on if he'd seen any scripts yet, and he simply replied, of course not. What will happen first? Kennedy fired or Star Trek 4? Don't know. Neither. It's like one of those, if a stormtrooper shoots at a Star Trek red shirt and all that, would the red shirt still die? It's one of those conundrums, isn't it? Of course not. When the writers' strike ended back in September, Variety reported that the next Star Trek movie was a priority for Paramount. Although in that report wording, this was called a planned reboot, which seems to be something different than the long-awaited Star Trek 4. The fourquel, is the follow-up to 2016 Star Trek Beyond, which I quite enjoyed, apart from the motorbike and the music. But I like Jailer. I like Jailer in it. Sophia Butella. Star Trek Beyond, which has been in development hell for years. Over the years, Noah Hawley, J.D. Payne, Kalinda Vasquez, never heard of that person, and Patrick McKay have all been attached. Don't forget Quentin Tarantino, as has Matt Shackman. The closest we got was Shackman's version, which was written by Lindsay Anderson Beer and landed a 2023 release date before he had to leave the project due to a scheduling issue. Back in September, Anderson Beer did say, it's like a brand, doesn't it? Did say it was still on the tracks, but Pine's update is less promising. I thought Lindsay Anderson Beer were a woman. Because I just did an article about it. I'm sure it said she. I could be wrong. I probably am. But Pine's update is less promising. This isn't the first time that the actor has shared frustration with the project either, as back in 2022, the cast found out it was happening based on a production update. It was just J.J. Abrams opening his mouth, wasn't it? Does she own the rocks? Vasquez. Yeah, Kalinda Vasquez, yeah. Yes, I bet she does. And she's too bad, Vasquez, whatever. You've been mistaken for a man. No, have you? But that's a different Vasquez. Anyway, where were we? Production update. Oh, yes. J.J. Abrams opened his mouth, didn't he? Saying, we're doing another Star Trek film. Yay! And nobody else knew about it. They were just trying to, basically force Paramount into green lighting him a Star Trek film. Anyway, in March this year, Pine said, in Star Trek land, the actors are usually the last people to find out anything. I know costume designers that have read scripts before the actors. Well, yeah, because they've got to design the bloody costume, haven't they? While Star Trek's fate isn't yet known, Pine was a bit more enthusiastic about the future of the Dungeons and Dragons franchise. The latest one's not too bad, is it? I was watching it. I watched it all the way through. It were on TV, one of the movie channels. And I saw a bit of it, and it was quite entertaining. And it had an owl bear in it. I told my son, hey, Aidan, there's an owl bear in this. He likes owl bears. Anyway, Dungeons and Dragons franchise. Speaking to Games Radar Plus, he said he would love to return as Bard Edgin, adding, I've heard some rumours about it, but I don't know anything yet, but I feel pretty confident that it may happen. Blah, 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 blah. There we go. So, I said, nobody knows anything about Star Trek 4, the film. It's going to be another Star Trek 1. If they're on about doing another reboot, God knows. Why don't they do a Star Trek Next Generation reboot? Have new people playing Picard and Riker and all them in the film. Did it with Kirk and all that, didn't they? Why can't they do it with the Next Gen? Or do a Deep Space Nine film with new people cast? They could do anything they wanted, couldn't they? Anyway, so there we go. Let's move on. I think Jay at SciTrek's been doing a lot of videos about Star Trek recently, hasn't he? I think he has. But I haven't watched them. I just haven't got around to it, and there's no reason, I just haven't got around to it. Right. Off we go. Right, Gizmodo, Sabina Graves, cool name. Welcome to Zack Snyder's Space Snyderverse with new Rebel Moon posters. Right, okay. We'll look in a minute. It's a start slideshow there, but we'll read the words first. The ambitious risk Netflix is taking on the Zack Snyder sci-fi franchise looks like it could be worth it, based on these damn good character posters presenting the sci-fi ensemble of Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. Hang on. Sorry, going back to Star Trek. Let me get rid of that then. Yeah, he claims the room is Kurtzman is selling Paramount's secret hideout and it's going to become Star Trek Studios. I know I'd seen something about it. But is he right? I don't know. We will see. Right. Hang on. Right. I'm setting it back up again for me. What do we call it? Time stamp in the thing. So we'll start again. Yay. Right. Welcome to Zack Snyder's Space Snyderverse with new Rebel Moon posters. Right. The ambitious risk Netflix is taking on a Zack Snyder sci-fi franchise looks like it could be worth it, based on these damn good character posters presenting the sci-fi ensemble of Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. Originally conceived as a Snyder original idea that pivoted to a Star Wars film and is now back to a space Snyderverse of his own, the Netflix two-parter has followed up its visual feast of a trailer with new character posters. The Rebel Moon universe is led by Sophia Boutella as Cora, a galactic military defector, and Anthony Hopkins as the former Royal Guard robot Jimmy. Is that the best he could come up with, Jimmy? It's like the robot in in Starcraft that was just called L, EL or ELL, whatever. And Carolyn Monroe, in her dubbed voice, kept going, "Oh well." Oh, that made me laugh. It's good as Starcraft. Give it a whirl. It's fun. Former Royal Guard robot Jimmy. Together they head. So that's supposed to be C-3PO. I bet it wasn't the original script. Together they head up a large ensemble of names that are familiar from all across the genre fandom of shows and movies. There's two Darios from Game of Thrones. Michael Eastman and Ed Skrein start opposite each other as enemies instead of the same guy vying for a Targaryen heart. It could at least be called Josh. Yeah, I bet there is somebody called Josh in it somewhere. Bet there is. Snyder's also brought in the Justice League star Ray Fisher, his cyborg. The squad of galactic warriors willing to risk it all for freedom also includes stars like Charlie Hunnam, Sons of Anarchy, Jimon Honsu, Shazam, and Stargate. Doona Bay, Sense8, and Stasnair, Supergirl, as well as newcomer E. Duffy. I think that's a rapper. Here's a look at their characters for a vibe of each character's fighting class role in Snyder's new vision for a space opera with his signature, gorgeously shot action, violence, and blood and slow motions. But, some directors like slow motion stuff, don't they? Michael Bay, for instance. Josh Bot, take your pick. Yes. Josh sounds good. Sounds a bit too much like Rojaws, though. Remember Rojaws from 2000 AD? What's the name of the ABC Warriors? What it Rojaws? Something like that, wasn't it? Probably a bit before your time, Win Grace. But that was a robot. It was a bit like Bender, except he had huge teeth. It was like a trash-eating robot. Anyway, whatever. Right, so there's Sophia Boutella. We'll start the slideshow. Off we go. Right. How do we go to the next one? So there we go, next slide there. There's Sophia Boutella. I presume these are paintings. They don't look real, do they? They look like paintings. Holding a gun. She's holding it as the armourer has told her, don't put your finger on the trigger until you mean to pull it. The trigger, squeeze it, whatever. But, it's obviously not a real gun, so why does it matter? Or is it a real gun? I don't know. Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire, and she's standing in the field with spaceships around her, ready for action, and a planet with a ring, or a ring system. Right, this is the robot, this, isn't it? This is Anthony Hopkins. This, I presume. Yes, Anthony Hopkins is the voice of Jimmy, of Scottish Geek Guy. That's Jimmy, isn't it? Is that the robot that was in the Judge Dredd movie? No, that was Hammerstein, wasn't it? Hammerstein, if you want to pronounce it. He was an ABC warrior as well. The leader of the ABC warriors was Hammerstein. Rojaws was, one of the others. There were other robots in it as well. They were like a squad of robots that were a bit like the A-Team, but robots. I like that Judge Dredd. I like the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd movie, the 95 one. It gets a lot of stick. I like it. Anyway, enough of looking at Jimmy's Jimmy. So there he is. So that's the robot, is it? I wondered, actually. You see it in the trailer with the antlers and stuff, and I thought, what's that supposed to be? And I didn't know it was a robot. So there you go. Has it got a restraining bolt? Is that it there? That is restraining bolt there. Anyway. Right, next slide. This is Charlie Hunnam, isn't it? Charlie Hunnam is Kai. There he is. Is he in the rain? Or something. Very good. I bet he's the Han Solo of the film. There's Jimon Honsu. Is General Titus. Cool. We saw in the trailer that he were on some planet and she went to try to recruit him because it had that feeling of a bit like, Seven Samurai, Magnificent Seven sort of thing, Battle Beyond the Stars, etc. Feel that she were going recruiting people to save her world, wasn't she? And she'd talk him into to joining her. And it looks like he's signed up just to get revenge or whatever, hasn't he? So there we go. Who's this? Doona Bay is Nemesis. Oh, right. I see the one with the lightsabers. I think it is. Obviously, they won't call them that. They're basically like plasma blades or something. What they'll call something, I don't know. Or they might not even give them a name. There we go. Don't like that hat. Anyway. Who's this? This is Michael. Is that how you pronounce it? Did you pronounce that Michael? Michael Huisman, is that how you pronounce it? No idea. As is Gunner. So they're giving him a, I presume a country appropriate name. I don't know where this from. And he's got a gun, so he's got a name, appropriate name as well. So there he is. Or is he the Han Solo character? Don't know. Maybe Charlie Hunnam is the Luke Skywalker character. That's what's his face, isn't it? I forgot his name again. Ed Screen is noble. I bet he's far from noble with his stick that's obviously fashioned after a bone, in it, with the joint there, the ball and socket joint. So space Nazis and whatever, and he's the Emperor of the Centauri Republic. That's what that is, isn't it? Isn't that the crest of what we saw Londo wearing when he became Emperor of the Centauri Republic? Wingris says, what a cool sounding weapon? A plasma scythe. Yes. That'd be big, though. That'd have a big long handle, wouldn't it? Or the futuristic Grim Reaper. Anyway. And that behind him gives me vibes of Metropolis, where they're making Maria the robot. Looks like that. I bet that's deliberate. Or not. He's shouting at some beast from the Lager of Lamont commercials. No idea what I'm talking about. Have you? Look it up. Is it on YouTube? I'm going to look it up now. Lager of Lamont advert. Oh, it is. It's there. Look. Is it this one? Go on, showers. It's only a quick advert. Looks like that beast from the Lager of Lamont commercials. No, it doesn't look like that at all. Never mind. Anyway. Who's this? Rebel Moon. Staz Nair is Tarak. There he is. Obviously for some forbidding, sharp-rocked planet. He doesn't seem to have a weapon. Does he use his fists? Is he a fist fighter? Because he hasn't got any weapons. But he's got a griffin to fly. Or maybe a harpoon. He's constantly scalding hot. A charpoon. Yeah. Or plaspoon. Or whatever. Anyway, so let's move on. How many is there? Anyway. And this is the Ronan Dex of the film. Ray Fisher. Isn't that Ray Fisher? God, he looks different, doesn't he? There's Darian Bloodaxe. Fine. So he's the Ronan Dex, isn't he? He's the I bet when he wrote the script, you were thinking, well, we need Ronan Dex for this, don't we? That's all we need. Aquaman. Who is he cast Aquaman essentially, didn't he? Part of his DCU, wasn't it, with Aquaman? So he probably had a say in the actor's casting. As you may have noticed, I've forgotten his bloody name. Anyway. Lol, that's a name choice, yes. Plasma Poon. E. Duffy is Milius. Oh, right. It's a person. I'm not going to say it's a she. Looks like a she. Could be a person who's not non-gender specific, binary, I don't know, non-binary. I don't know, transgender, I don't know. It could be whatever. Take your pick. I thought it was going to be a rapper with a name like E. Duffy. Maybe they are a rapper. I don't know. But this is the that person from Mass Effect. I can't remember the name. Probably. Oh, that's it. Right. Okay. Check out these other slideshows. 7 unhealthy foods. It's actually fine. What? Go back again. How do I go back? Previous. There we go. So there we go. So that's the how many were there? 12 were there? Yes, 11. Sorry, 11 posters from Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. I'm actually looking forward to it. Oh, there we go. See you right. This is all Google says. Duffy is a non-binary actor who portrayed Milius in Rebel Moon. There we go. Jason Momoa. Yes. Why could I not remember his name? Because I'm an idiot. See, told you. told you've got to be careful these days, haven't you? But anyway, I'm sure they are a fine actor, and they've got a gun and something in that hand as well, screwdriver, whatever. Are they an engineer? Bet they are. Bet they are. Bet they're an engineer who can pick up a gun as well. So not like what's the face off Firefly, Kaylee. But anyway, right, that's it. Get rid of that. Make myself big. That's the last story. I think. Yes, it is. That's the last one for today. So, cracking burping, I tell you. Right, so we'll leave it there. So, as I said, I'll be putting timestamps in the video, well, in the description. So, if you missed any of it, or if you can be bothered, you can go and watch whatever bit you want. Or not, it's entirely up to you. Right, we'll leave it there. So, thanks, Wingrace, for helping me out in the chat with names and things like that, and ideas for weapon names. Plasma Scythe. Plasma Scythe sounds cool. Or like a phase sickle. That sounds like a lolly, doesn't it? Anyway, right, so we'll leave it there. What's up next? We're on Wednesday. So Friday is Friday Night Appointment with Fear. This week, we are doing The Innkeepers, a spooky horror tale set in the Yankee Peddler Inn in Connecticut, I think. I can't remember, somewhere like that. There's two. There's one in Rhode Island, I think, but that's not this one. And then on Monday, we're doing Magnificent Mondays after my news on Sunday, but Magnificent Mondays this week's going to be Renfield, a new film. Shock horror. Not going back to the early aughts or the 1980s or 70s. We're doing a new one, Renfield. So I'll probably get copyright struck for the trailer, probably. Like I have done with The Princess Bride. Remember, did Princess Bride all the way back in the Monday Moan, Part 1, Episode 1. Got copyright struck for it, and it was blocked everywhere. So I've had to clip out the trailer. And another film which I've not announced. I've actually created the page, the link, the YouTube thing for next week's Friday Night Appointment with Fear. Not this week's, next week's. We're doing Sleepy Hollow, which I class as a horror film because heads get lopped off galore, and I think it's a horror film. You're saying, why not Renfield? But that's more of a, I don't know what it is, but it's not a horror film. I don't think it is anyway. Or they could go the route of just adding Quantum to Railgun or something. Yeah. Quantum Railgun. Yep. I love that one. Which one? Renfield or Sleepy Hollow? Or both? Or Innkeepers? I like them all. I like them all. Right. I think Sleepy Hollow is Tim Burton's best film, personally. It's really good. Right, so we'll leave it there. So thanks, Wingrace, again, for helping me out again in the chat. Nobody else has popped in, has there? I've not noticed. No, they haven't. Right. All right, I better check. I forgot to check. In the last, I can't remember what it was. One of my last live streams, I can't remember which one it was. I didn't check the live chat. Somebody put in loads of messages, but they were like a bit unsavoury. So I'm glad I didn't notice them till after. But anyway, Sleepy Hollow and the Innkeepers. I've yet to see Renfield, to be honest. All right, it's good as Renfield. It's fun. It's fun. I liked it that much. I bought the Blu-ray. That's what I thought of it. So there we go. It's a lot of fun. It's better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like, whatever. And I watched and I thought, that were ace. So I bought the Blu-ray. I heard it was good, so I bought the Blu-ray and really enjoyed it. Right, we'll leave it there. So I'm going now. So thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, I'll see you there.